Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is SeanBonJoviii, and welcome to the SeanBonJoviii Show. How'd you like that intro, huh? I've been working on that. So, I have a few things I want to talk about today. It's all weight-based mechanics stuff. I recently made a short about all the mechanics I know and the research I've recently done, and this is just a rant-style video, but before we get into my rant, I want to show you the short in case you missed it. Weight mechanics in Pokemon have been ignored for too long, I say. I set out to make the heaviest attack in all of Pokemon. In my research, I found out that it doesn't take much to set up this ultimate attack, so let me show you how to do it. First, you need the Pokemon who weighs the most and knows the move Heavy Slam. We will use Celesteela. Next, we will give it the ability Heavy Metal, which doubles the user's weight. We do this by skill swapping from a Bronzong, making Celesteela's weight 4,408 pounds. But we are not done yet. We need to make the lightest Pokemon for it to fight. Meet Minior, the 16th lightest Pokemon at only 0.7 pounds. The Float Stone item cuts the user's weight in half, making Minior only 0.35 pounds. The move Autotomize makes the user lighter by 220 pounds, making Minior weigh only negative 219 pounds. If you do all this, your reward is a massive 120 base power attack. Alright, so that's the video. We can drop a pause on that. So that's it. Basically, I just started reading Bulbapedia about weight mechanics because they're so obscure, and I wanted to do something cool with it. Now that video actually did a lot better than most of my videos usually do. Over here on TikTok, you see I got almost 44,000 views, 3,000 likes. So yeah, that video did really well, and it got 34 comments, and I just wanted to discuss some of what we saw over there today. I'm going to show you my research and what we found. So first of all, everything you need to know is right here on the weight Wikipedia page for Bulbapedia, right? And it would have saved me a lot of time and effort if I had just read this right here. This weight modifying effects is everything you basically need to know about weight mechanics. They have been ignored, and there's pretty much nothing there. So I'm going to read to you the 3 bullet points, and you're going to be up to speed with everything you need to know. So this is it. A Pokemon that uses Autotomize has its base weight decreased by 100 kilograms or 220 pounds each time it uses the move and successfully changes its speed. Okay. A Pokemon with the ability Heavy Metal or Light Metal functions as twice or half its weight as twice or half its previously determined weight, respectively. And then finally, a Pokemon holding a Float Stone functions as half its previously determined weight. So basically, the Float Stone and Light Metal are the same exact thing. I think it's safe to assume that those will compound as well. But this next point is really important and really invalidates a lot of what I said in that TikTok. And I'm gonna be honest, I read this seconds before posting it and was just like, well, I spent hours editing this video and I'm gonna upload it anyway. So, a Pokemon's weight cannot drop below 0.1 kilograms. Weight is stored with a granularity of 0.1 kilograms. If an effect halves a Pokemon's weight, the result is rounded down to the next lower number. So, let's take a look at the list of Pokemon by weight, right? So, if we go here to the very top, we see the lightest Pokemon. We got Ghastly at number 1, Haunter. All of these Pokemon could have done the job of Minior in that video because their weight can't go any lower than 0.1. So if Ghastly gets any lighter, we're good. All I had to do was give Ghastly a Float Stone, and we were done. So if I had read that section from here earlier, we wouldn't have needed to do this. But instead, I went through the list, and I started looking for lightweight Pokemon that can use Autotomize. I believe the first one I found was this right here, Honedge. Very light, can use Autotomize. But then on a second look, I found the Minior, even lighter, can also use Autotomize. But that's very little difference. And again, both of them are reaching the floor for weight. So it doesn't matter whichever one you want to use. any of these Pokemon are good. I would just want to see, what is the heaviest Pokemon? Right? Like, what is the first Pokemon who I can't use a Float Stone on to get, like, the lowest weight, right? So we're looking for someone who's 100 kilograms or 220 pounds. And the very first Pokemon that we can't use it on is Mega Charizard Y. And then we got Meganium, Silvally, pretty much all of our Mega Kanto starters. But I think it is interesting that Mega Charizard X is significantly heavier than the other three. That's interesting. So yeah, now we're going to look at the opposite end of the spectrum. This right here is the Pokemon that I was using when I was looking for the heaviest Pokemon, right? The opposite end of the spectrum. So obviously the first thing we're looking for is a heavy Pokemon that can use Heavy Slam. And luckily Game Freak's not dumb, and most of these Pokemon here can use Heavy Slam or Heat Crash, right? And the king here is Celesteela. But originally, I didn't use Celesteela, right? Celesteela is very heavy and can Heavy Slam, but I wanted to use the ability Heavy Metal to double the weight. And the only person on this list who has Heavy Metal is Copperajah. So Copperajah was at 2,866 pounds, which is more than a Celesteela. Although, you know, through labbing and figuring these things out, I was able to find that Bronzong has Skill Swap and the ability Heavy Metal as well. So I was able to Skill Swap very easily in a 1v1 environment. If I was to do this in doubles, I could Skill Swap Light Metal onto the opponent. But again, it's a waste of effort because they can't go lower than 0.1 kilograms. And also, I really want to do this in a singles format because I'm just more of a singles player myself. And a lot of people were not really getting the point of the video. They thought I was trying to make the strongest weight-based attack of all time. That's not what I was going for. I was going for the biggest difference in weight in an attack, right? If I wanted to make the strongest attack of all time, I would whip open my Showdown calculator and start doing some weird stuff. I would probably look at Primal Groudon right away for the Heat Crash, with like the strongest base attack of all time, or maybe go to the regular Groudon and slap a Choice Band on it. That's another option I could have had. So I do just now notice two interesting things in the trivia section of the Wikipedia page. Right here, the heaviest possible weight a Pokemon can have in the games is 4,408 pounds or 1,999 kilograms. This can be achieved by using Skill Swap or Entrainment to give Heavy Metal to Cosmoem or Celesteela. So these two top Pokemon right here are both max weight, and all you have to do is give them Heavy Metal, and then boom, 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 bada bing, there you go. You got the heaviest Pokemon in existence. The other interesting thing here is that Missigno, where was it on this list? Missigno has a glitched weight. So let's read this. Several glitch Pokemon from Generation 1, such as Missigno, far exceed normal weight measurements. For example, the heaviest real Pokemon weigh in at is 2,204 pounds, while Missigno weighs 3,507 pounds. And okay, here's something I've never heard of in my life, and I might dig into for another video. This is interesting. And H-Pokey weighs 6,099. What is H-Pokey? Oh my god, there was another Missigno? It's a dual type ghost poison, and then Missigno was like a flying type or something, right? Bird normal. Whoa. I've never heard of this. H-Pokey can be encountered via method number 3 of the Mew glitch, a relatively safe glitch Pokemon to use. It's a hybrid of Gengar, but it can be difficult to catch and train because normally when H-Pokey is caught, its Pokédex data will lock up the game. The frozen Pokédex can be avoided if the trainer catching H-Pokey has a Gengar registered in their Pokédex as owned. Its cry is glitched and different every time its stats are checked. Depending on the last cry heard, it could freeze the game. So it looks like it's identical to a Gengar. Let's rip open the Gengar stats real quick. Let's just say 110 speed, 130 special attack. I'm pretty sure that is a Gengar. Gengar Pokemon. Can we get some stats on the Gengar? 110, 130. Yeah. Wow. That's cool. I've never heard of that in my life. Okay, so I want to talk about this page. This is where the bulk of my research actually happened, is on the Cerebi page for weight mechanics. It basically shows us everything we need to know about weight manipulation, but the important things here are the heavy crash and heavy slam and heat crash base power increases. It's all percentage based. 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. When you're playing on Pokemon Showdown, it's going to give you a range because Pokemon weight can fluctuate, hypothetically. It'll say 80 to 120 differential. But on Showdown, I believe everybody's Pokemons are default as heavy as possible, unless you personally go and change that yourself. This is something I should have researched before this video. So I think you should pretty much always assume the minimum base power on these attacks. Also, interestingly, Grass Knot and Low Kick are kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? They are the heavier your opponent is than you. Hold up. Their base power is not contingent on the Pokemon using it, but rather on how heavy and bulky the target is. So it's not about difference, it's about just the target's total weight. And yeah, again, I think you can safely assume most Pokemon are at their heaviest. And something interesting is that this move starts off at 20 base power, whereas Weight Crash and Heavy Slam start off at 40. Another interesting thing is Skydrop, which I don't talk about at all in my video, is just a move that if your Pokemon opponent is too heavy, Skydrop doesn't work on them. I think I have Skydrop over here. A surprising amount of Pokemon actually can use this move that I've never heard of. So I dare you to go run Skydrop Pelipper. Sounds cool. So here we are. I just have like a bunch of tabs open. Floatstone, we pretty much talked about everything we need to know about this. 100 kilograms or 222 pounds. Now I want to talk about what people recommended in the video comment section that doesn't work at all. Lagging Tail does not work. You cannot increase your weight with any item at all. Not Lagging Tail, which increases your priority. Not Iron Ball, which holder is grounded, speed is halved. If a flying type, it takes neutral to ground damage. That's all Iron Ball does. It does not increase your weight, nor does the Heavy Ball. The Heavy Ball catches Pokemon who are heavier more successfully. Autotomize. This shit sucks to pronounce. But it lowers by an even 100 kilograms. If I remember correctly? Yeah, that's right. Even 100 kilograms. It's not percentage, it's not half. That's important to note, I guess. But like nobody's really ever head calcing weights. It just doesn't happen. If you are a competitive player, you already know what your base power is versus the significant Pokemon you want to Heavy Slam or Heat Crash or Grass Knot. You're not head calcing any of this. You know, okay, Tyranitar's heavy as hell. My Heavy Slam isn't doing too much to him, even if it's super effective, but my Grass Knot is doing a lot to him. So yeah, I kind of just talked through the same thing with Heavy Slam. Interestingly, though, is on pretty much every Wikipedia page, you're going to see it say that weight-based moves kind of started with two different moves in Ruby and Sapphire. And that would be Low Kick being one of those two moves, but you see Low Kick existed in Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, but it only had a flinch chance and was not actually weight-based back then. Weight-based began here in Ruby and Sapphire. Grass Knot is what I assume the other move they keep referring to that's weight-based, but it started in Diamond and Pearl. I don't know why every Wikipedia page says it started in Ruby and Sapphire. I'm very confused by that. I then looked into Heavy Slam, Heat Crash, and Skydrop, and all of them came much later as well. I don't know what this second weight-based move from Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald is, but if you know the answer to that, hit the comments below, because I don't have a clue. And then here's some funny ones that I thought of, and pretty much everyone I've talked to, like, bounced ideas off of with, has also suggested looking at. But gravity has no effect whatsoever on weight, although I did notice something interesting. If you power up gravity with a Psychium Z, the user's special attack is raised by 1 stage. And so I started cooking in the laboratory, right? I started looking at Pokemon who can set gravity and thinking, which one of these have an interesting special attack and can actually use this effectively, right? Because what's the point of gravity? It's to hit flying type, levitating Pokemon. And if we're making it Psychium Z boosted, we want someone with a special attacking ground attack, right? And I'm looking through this list and it's like Mewtwo. No, what we want is a ground type. So we got Baltoy, we have Claydol maybe? Claydol's interesting. But the one who really catches my eye, who has not yet appeared, not Golurk, although Golurk, it's more of a physical attacker. Who really caught my eye here is Landorus. Now, personally, in the recent draft league, I ran Landorus Therian with Nasty Plot, Fightium Z, Focus Blast, and Earth Power and Sludge Wave. But on the Sheer Force Landorus eye, oh my god. That's scary stuff, and that's some high sauce. That's really spicy tech. So, you know what they say. Don't bring Trick Room in the Trick House, and don't bring flying types in the gravity matchup, because this Landorus will run through your team. Another interesting thing I found while researching this is gravity combined with Grav Apple. I didn't realize it increases Grav Apple's base power to 120. That is huge. So that is pretty much everything I have to talk about today with gravity. So thank you all. I really just wanted to get these thoughts off my chest and out into the world, because I feel like I'm the leading expert in weight-based mechanics now. So, thank you if you stuck around this long in the video. Leave a like, tell your friends. Ciao, ciao.